Hey, Kelly, how's it going?
I am good, Andrew. How are you?
I am good, thanks. We are trying something new today.
Yes,
We are live without video,
that is fine.
but we will. There I am. There I am.
Yes.
Can you all see me?
Okay, I think we can. Actually, tell us in the chat box. Can you see Andrew? I know you guys have missed him. He has abandoned us for many, many moons.
I know.
Mm.
And I'm back. And as you can see, it's a new setting, so we're trying new things in the background,
Yes,
Kelly.
we are.
So I know Dan is going to check the phone and make sure it's on video camera. We've been having some fun this morning, haven't
Yes,
we?
and we're talking to that camera, not
Yes. So we are talking to this camera right now. As soon as Dan gets the Mevo up and running and changes the setting, then we will be good to go. Oh, we are live.
So, how was your weekend? How was
Yeah.
your 18 weekends?
So I know I haven't been back for a long time, have I?
Yes.
Jeez. No, it's been really awesome, man. Kelly, this weekend, what did we do? I was in the office. Port Elizabeth, Crossways. A very unique opportunity that a lot of people are taking up.
Yes.
Doing a development on rural lands called the Rural Newtown, where this development site's getting all its own water from the river, from the mountain, and it's going to be about 94% off of the grid, and it's literally 15 minutes outside of Port Elizabeth, in a place called Crossways. And a lot of people from Port Elizabeth, they've got a big problem there.
Yes.
The problem is that there's not enough water. I think the dam's at 6% or something.
Yes.
So Crossways has now solved that problem.
Mm.
And it's still a very affordable place to go.
Absolutely.
So Kelly, I was here Saturday morning with Jay, talking to investors, getting them to enroll. A lot of people are investing 500,000 rand, R1 million just to get involved, which is great.
Yes.
And then, I had a good weekend with the family, the kids. How about yourself?
My weekend was actually calm. It was very calm. It was very laid back. Nothing particularly wow. But yes, all in all, I'm back. I'm ready to get the week started, and I'm ready to just get the ball rolling.
No, definitely. A lot happening. And of course, it's Easter weekend this weekend. Can you believe it?
And it's my birthday.
Oh, where's your birthday?
Sunday.
Oh, nice. On
Yeah.
Easter Sunday.
Yes.
Jeez, that's pretty cool, eh?
Yeah.
Nice. So I think what we should do, ladies and gents, because we've got Arnold February joining us from Business Partners, talking around, how do you access funding for solar panels? So many more people are going down that road these days, obviously. How do we be more energy efficient? Looking at the load shedding schedules, Kelly, I don't think that's going anywhere in the short term.
In anytime soon.
And so, as South Africans now, we've got to start thinking out the box and and asking ourselves a question: when we go doing industrial, commercial, residential properties, how do we start going off grid, or how do we go half of grid? How do we start getting solar panels? And of course, kind of the big question is, it's money. It costs money. It's not for free.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people are spending 160,000 rand on their property going off grid. Some people are putting a few solars up, right, in terms of a solar panel. And we've got Arnold coming in a few minutes just to talk to us. How do we access the funding? Where does it come from?
Mm-hmm.
Do we release equity from our property? Do we get funding from a place or from Arnold's company? So it'll be a great conversation because
I'm very excited about that. He is going to join us in a few minutes. But while we are waiting on Arnold to literally unpack this green inches that the country are now, unfortunately or fortunately going to, because I think a lot of us are obliged to. It wasn't particularly by choice, but it's still amazing for us to actually take out alternative forms of energy. I think I would like two things. One, I would like everybody to let us know where they're watching us from, especially because we're trying something new. We want to know how far is our reach going to send. So just let me know in the chat box where you are from. The ongoing war between Johannesburg and Cape Town will forever be going on. So I want to know the first person has to be from Joburg, please. But in the meantime, you are going to be telling us about the events.
Yeah, so there's quite a few events coming up across South Africa, which is awesome. Some are virtual and some are live in person. So I was making some notes earlier.
Yes.
So on the 12th, Kelly, now the 12th of April is next Wednesday at Tel Africa at Greenstone. We will be having judging for Investor of the Year. So if you have done a deal, it doesn't matter, Kelly, if it's a basic buy-to-let, if it's your first flip, or it could be that you've done some big deals or you're doing Airbnb or multi-let, you'll find that at the Investor of the Year, which is happening at the end of this year, it's a great initiative. It's a competition, and we want to know more about you and your deal. Now, don't be nervous about entering. A lot of people do feel nervous, don't they?
They do.
I don't know why they feel nervous, but it's a great opportunity for all of you to just come on. Even if you have got a deal, but you don't want to enter, but you want to come see what it's all about, you're more than welcome to join as the audience. But it is at the boardroom at Tile Africa. So you are limited to spaces. So two things: if you've done a deal and you want to enter, please contact. We will post the link in the comments box for you, and you can just come join, or you can come pitch your deal. Then Kali, on the 15th, so a week on Saturday, in Cape Town, Akashni, Jonathan, and Darren Francis, the winner of Investor of the Year from 2021, will be joining us. I'll be joining Akashni and Jonathan as they do a live walkthrough of a live deal that they've just renovated. Because Kelly, I always talk about learning online and coming to seminars, webinars is good,
Yes.
but to get real experience, to actually go out there, to actually go out there and walk through a property with experts is the way to do it. So that's in Cape Town, ladies and gents. So for the Cape Townians, the 15th of April is for you. Then we've got the 19th of April, so that's next week, 2 weeks away on a Wednesday. For the intermediate members, the foundation members, the pro members, there's the group coaching and legal support. So if you are new to us right now, at SAPN, if you are one of our members, we do give support. So we all jump on a call, the coaches, myself, the legal team. It'll probably be on a Wednesday night, and we just give you support. So there's a shared spreadsheet where you ask all your questions, you give us scenarios, and the coaches, the legal team, the accountants get involved, and we help you solve problems. And then on the 20th is business partners.
Yes.
Why don't you? And you were there last time, weren't you? Weren't you the host?
I was the host.
How was it?
It was amazing. It was a huge turnout because people saw the value of our partnership, especially for business partners, because they're very intricate and very niche funding organizations.
Yeah.
They give literally so much funding to amazing deals. So that's also why we're here, because we're going to be speaking to business partners.
Absolutely.
Yes, but it was amazing, and that's happening on the 20th of April. You are going to be seeing me. They're also as the host, but we are going to be unpacking more of what we're going to be discussing on the 20th in the short space of time.
Absolutely. So that is about 2 weeks away. And then the 22nd of April, there's two events happening. There's a breakfast with Ntando in KZN. So if you're in the KZN area, Durban or around that area, and Ntando and Bevan will be hosting a breakfast for you. And at the same time, there's a wealth builder. So wealth builder workshop here in Johannesburg is all around building wealth and property. So it might be that you sat and you're not quite sure how to get started, or you might have 2 or 3 properties and you feel stuck, or have you bought in the right structure? What strategy are you following? Is it the Airbnb, the buy-to-let, the multi-let? How are you moving your properties forward in the right place and direction? So that's the Wealth Builder. It's a full one-day workshop from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, actually. It's a full one day, full of education, practical tools. We do bring coaches into the room, and we're there to help you move forwards. So there's actually a lot of events. We will be posting those events for you in the comments box. So please get in touch if you have any questions. So I think, Kelly, what we should do is I'll let you do the honors. I'll have my producer in the background. I'll let you introduce Arnold to the front, and you get everything going. How does that sound?
Yes. I will see you when you give me great lighting.
Yes. I will let Arnold take my seat, and I'm going to help my producer. Yeah.
Okay. Let us know how this is working, because like we said, guys, this is the first time we're actually doing it like this. We want the coffee chat to be more accessible and more homely, so you guys can have the feel that you are part of this. So, ladies and gentlemen, as he comes over the threshold, please help me welcome Arnold February. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I am good. I am
see you
good.
again.
Lovely seeing you. It's always lovely, and I'm going to see you again on the 20th.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. Okay, so Mr. Arnold, I'll give you the platform to actually introduce yourself, because I don't think I'm going to do you justice when I go how amazing Business Partner is. So could you please tell our viewers where exactly is Business Partners and what is it that they actually do?
Sure. Thank you. And thanks again for the opportunity, and to the listeners. Maybe just a quick introduction. My name is Arnold February. I'm the regional investment manager.
So now we shifted to that camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm the regional investment manager for a company called Business Partners Limited. We have been assisting entrepreneurs for about 42 years with funding, as well as with mentorship. And our core is really to provide funding in the hands of entrepreneurs, which means we don't assist with individuals and we don't assist with the residentials. There are some exceptions that I'll talk about.
Okay.
And our funding is really for property, for expansion of businesses. It's also for working capital, stock management, buyouts of businesses. And we have been doing it profitably for 42 years. We also have an international company called Business Partners International that assists with funding in the African countries.
Oh, okay. So we branch out all over the continent.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
SADC nations in Africa.
Okay, so we'll take it. And so, just off the top, you just said you particularly help in entrepreneurs with funding. What would characterize a property entrepreneur?
All right. So a property entrepreneur, I'll give it 5 different classifications.
Yes.
In the world of business partners, you can be a business owner who's trading from a property and you're paying rent. We will then assist that business owner become a property owner by buying that property they're renting from or a similar property that is good for the business. We're the only institution I know of that will allow that entrepreneur to fund 100% of the property, provided that the trading business occupies more than 50% of the premises, that they have been in business profitably for at least 2 years. And the other scenario would be that the installment that they will pay versus the rental, that is a favorable equation. In other words, that the business will be able to afford the facility after taking into account the rental that they have been paying. Now, it does mean that you can grow your business and become a property owner without the hassle of taking working capital from your business to invest in a property, which only grows for 7% per year.
Yes.
So that's scenario number 1. Scenario number 2 is if you're into student accommodation, or if you run Airbnb, or if you run a business that's under residential but has consent use for business, and you maybe have a doctor or dentist occupying and paying rental for you. So that would be a professional service, and that is one of the 2 exceptions in which we will fund residential.
Okay.
Then I think the other one would be if, for example, you want to buy a shopping center or a commercial block, and you buy it for 10 million and the bank is only willing to give you 6 million, and you need to put on equity of 4 million, but you only have 2 million. You will come to business partners as an equity partner, and we will put 2 million down and match your equity. In that case, we say the bank will finance the debt and we will be equity partners 50-50, and we'll assist with the management of the property as well. Those properties, you will appreciate that we'll only do if it's good properties with good potential for growth and good tenants.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the 4. I think the last one is also if we assist a client that wants to take a building but also wants to create green building initiatives and save on utility costs and dependence on Eskom, they want to reduce that as well. So that's really what I want to talk about.
Okay, so to simplify it even further for our viewers, essentially the core of your business is commercial lending to property entrepreneurs or to businesses who want to in turn own their properties.
Correct.
Example, you have a crèche and you've had the crèche for 4 years, but now you don't want to pay rent anymore, you want to own the building that the crèche belongs to. You come to people like business partners and they could facilitate the sale and in turn assist you in purchasing that. Or if you are somebody in the medical field or medical profession and you want to own your practice at which you reside in, you in turn would partner up with business partners. You guys also do mezzanine financing or bridging finance. So if I have $1 million and the bank says 5, but I need another $1 million, then I go into equity partnership with you guys.
Yes. Provided that it's a very good property with potential upside, we will then wear the equity partner hat.
Okay, so equity and funding, guys. Equity and funding, but for commercial properties only. So unfortunately, or if it's big scale residential, i.e. student accommodation, would you do hotels?
We have done hotels, yes. So student accommodation, we can do hotels, but under RES, it would also be where the residential property has consent use
Yes.
for business.
Oh, okay, cool. So res has to have consent use.
Oh, and then one more.
Yes.
Residential development. So if you're a
Ah.
developer out there and you want to develop a piece of land and build 50 units with the intention of selling, we will then assist with that as well.
Is there a threshold that, like a minimum where you can go, okay, business partners enters the residential game starting from this point?
So we have a threshold and a max, which is a minimum of 500,000 and a maximum of 50 million.
Okay.
But there is an interquartile range. So I would say our deals are normally between 3 million and 15 million in general.
Yes.
Properties are normally the bigger size tickets. So there we would do bigger deals.
Okay, fantastic. So, guys, if you have any questions for Arnold or for business partners, please just put them in the chat box. I will absolutely be asking Arnold all of the questions that you have. And Andrew has joined us again.
How's it going, Arnold?
Good
to see you.
Okay.
Interesting with technology, eh?
Yes.
And
yes.
these fancy cameras and stuff.
But I see you guys have got it on lockdown.
I think so. I think
Yes,
so.
I think
We're getting
so too.
there.
We're getting there.
We normally in the studio over there, Arnold, with a normal sap and background and banner. I thought let's be different today.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're
Your
trying something.
coffee style.
Yeah, that's it. More laid back and relaxed. But thanks for coming in.
Even got the plant.
Yeah, we've got the plants. I've got the whole setting here. That's good.
Right, as we were going, because I see now we're having a low voice cloud. I need to bring us back because people there are watching and
Yes.
very, very interested in Arnold and business partners. So Arnold, you were mentioning the different tiers at which business partners would get involved with property entrepreneurs. But you mentioned something that I discussed a bit earlier, and that is green initiatives and people looking for alternative energy sources or converting their business and or their buildings into energy efficient ones. And how does business partners come in?
I think it's important to say there is a spectrum.
Yes.
And we identify a certain segment of that spectrum. And I mean, we've heard it with the budget speech as well. And I think even before, with global warming and with ESCOM, there's definitely a movement towards utility efficiency, alternative energies, and for various reasons. So you can get funding from the bank for residential properties, and you can get funding from various other alternative funders. But we specialize in commercial, all right, or the exceptions of residential that I've talked about, which, by the way, student accommodation, residential, where you have consent use to operate as a business, or residential development. So what we will do is, if we assist a client with funding a commercial property, and let's say we bought a property for you guys, and let's say it's a 10 million transaction, we'll do that in the normal course of business, but it unlocks a couple of things for you. So first of all, since we're assisting you with property, you now, in addition, get the opportunity to get green building initiative funding. And that is about 5% of the value of the property that you can unlock. So in that case, it's a 500,000 Rand loan facility that we will then use for solar panels, and it extends beyond solar. It will include making your room or your layout more energy efficient. It will also include water reticulation, JoJo tanks, and the likes. So we will then finance the 500,000, get you some savings on your utility, and we would require of you to have a saving of about 20% minimum.
Yeah.
And we will then structure that loan over 5 years or 10 years. We can stretch it over 10 years. But the interesting thing, Andrew, is in that case, we'll give you the loan for 500,000. We will get the property accredited. So you'll have a certificate to say this is a green building, which means the value of the property will also be adjusted accordingly. The second one is, if we give the loan of 500,000 and we've done the assessment and you've passed the test of saving at least 20% on your utility, we will write off 40% of that loan. So you will get a rebate.
40% off.
Yeah, so you will get a rebate of 500,000. You'll only start paying interest on 300,000. So the benefit is the cost of accreditation can go up to 150,000. That you don't pay.
Okay.
We will pay that. And once the building passes all the verification and all the platforms that we use to verify that it's a green building initiative, you actually get a 40% discount on the loan.
40% discount on the loan.
200,000, you pay 300,000 over a 10-year period.
Okay. So the 40% is on the 5% of the value, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
yeah.
So it's important to say that rebate is in addition to what SARS will give you. So
Okay.
SARS would allow you to write off 125% of your spend of the 500,000 as tax. So that is huge.
Yeah,
so
big, eh?
you get our benefit and you get the benefit of the rebate that SARS allows commercial properties.
That's very interesting, eh? And are you seeing more applications coming in, Arnold, with this type of funding?
Yes, so we have different people applying for different needs. So you can appreciate that businesses that are very reliant on energy, like your injection molding businesses or your manufacturing concerns, they definitely want to save on their utility. Obviously, solar panels are not going to get you far if it's a real manufacturing concern. You won't be able to power the machines, but you can definitely save when the power goes on and the machines have to get warmed up. You can definitely reduce that. And also bear in mind that because we only want 20% savings, you can decide to do much more. You can decide you want to go completely off the grid.
Sure.
And put the rest of the money in yourself or get a normal loan from us.
Yeah.
So we see that with manufacturing businesses. We also see a lot of people that have student accommodation, because you can appreciate you have a lot of people using electricity, water, and even your biometrics, by the way, it becomes important in a business like that.
Need service.
But we are pushing for every new transaction that we do. We want to ensure for not just for energy supply, but for global warming. We want to ensure that we bring the opportunities to the attention of the entrepreneur. So that we incorporate it with every transaction.
Interesting, Kali.
Very interesting, and I think the fact that already there's an incentive in terms of you guys take on the amount or the value of the certification. That means that's not even part of the loan, and then on top of that, there's an additional discount provided that you meet the requirements. It's more than enough incentive in terms of the people you get into partnerships with to actually take on the greenery of like turning their buildings into being energy efficient. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, if you have any questions for Arnold and for business partners in terms of who they finance, who they go in partnership with, we did touch on that. But if you want more detail, please ask us in the chat box. As you heard, you can literally get discounts upon discounts upon discounts upon discounts on your loans, provided that you are energy efficient and that you essentially turn your buildings into green buildings.
And get accredited.
Yes.
And get accredited.
Well, they don't have to worry about that. Arnold's got that.
We'll cover that cost as well.
Yeah.
So the question is, what's the catch?
Yeah, what's the catch?
What's the catch, Arnold? We're waiting for the punchline. So we can't assist if an entrepreneur has an existing building and they just want to improve on their utility costs and they just want the Green Buildings Initiative loan on its own. We won't be able to assist with that Green Buildings loan on its own.
Okay.
What we can do is we could look at the existing bondholder and maybe replace the bondholder and then also unlock the Green Buildings Initiative. Or we could maybe use the property to fund working capital for a trading business if that is the case. But that is maybe a catch that I would say, and I'm sure there would be a question on that.
Yes, well, it's not that big of a catch. I feel like it's still under the green flags banner. So with regards to that, when you were mentioning the different tiers at which a business partners comes into partnership with individuals, you also mentioned practitioners. So individuals, even I would assume law firms, doesn't necessarily have to be medicine. But if you are an individual who has consent of use, but you own a practice, you would then fund a residential building. with regards to that, is there a type of residential or is it anyways? Because sometimes you'll find that people will take homes and then turn them into commercial offices. But obviously the structure in itself, it's still an actual home. Would that be something business partners would get into, or there has to be a particular structure?
So there's no particular structure. What is important is does the property abide by the municipal laws? So whether it's on a corner, whether it's in the main road, whether it's an L-shape, U-shape, double story, doesn't really matter. What matters is that they do have the relevant consent to operate as a professional service, and that's all we need.
Oh, that is fantastic. So Andrew, do you have any questions for Arnold?
No, I think we've covered a lot, eh? I think what we should do is maybe go back to the events. What events are happening this week, next week, and the following, because it's Easter weekend this weekend. And then if there's any questions, pop it into the chat box. And Daniel's going to give us a good view on the laptop so we can see the questions. So a reminder, ladies and gents, the 12th, which is next week, Wednesday, is Tile Africa. Tile Africa Greenstone, Investor of the Year. If you've done the deal, come tell us about the deal, whether that's your first, even if it's a basic buy-to-let or a small flip or a multi-let, it doesn't matter, ladies and gents. There's a home for you at Investor of the Year. That's the 12th, and the 15th is Cape Town. If you're in the Cape Town area, Darren Francis, the winner of the Investor of the Year 2021, alongside Akashi and Jonathan, will be doing a property walkthrough. In Cape Town, it's a multi-let as well, which is great. The 19th is coaching and legal support. That's the Wednesday night. The Thursday night, the 20th of April, is with Arnold February and Sapin. It's an awesome networking event where you get to come. Yes, you'll learn from the keynote speakers. You'll find out how you can get funding. It's a great opportunity as well to start meeting other like-minded property investors. And then the 22nd of April is the Wealth Builder Workshop with myself, Daniel, and the coaches of Sapin, where we really look at your current property portfolio and how do we help you expand. It may be that you actually haven't got started in property and you're not sure where to start. We can help you with that. But we do find a lot of people in South Africa get to 3, 4, 5 properties and they get stuck. Our job on the day is to help you get unstuck. And at the same time, there'll be in Durban, there will be a breakfast for you Durbanites with Ntando and Bevan on the 22nd of April. So make sure you do check out the website and you have a look at that. And I think, Kelly, that wraps it up. There's quite a few events happening in April, funny enough.
That is quite a few events happening. But the most important thing about April is that it's my birthday.
Yes, on Sunday. Happy birthday for Sunday.
Thank you. But we are waiting for our producer, Daniel, in the background to send us the questions that you guys are asking. As I told you, please ask all of your questions that you have for Arnold and business partners. And I'll be making sure that we get those answered. Okay, so the first question that we have, just give me a sec, is that how does the loan to value work in terms of student accommodation acquisitions and also development finance? Also, what is the rate and loan term? So let's start from the bottom going up. The first one is, what is the rate and loan term, depending on which one they do?
So a little bit of background on that. So business partners, we are not a bank. We use our own money, shareholders' loans, and money that we've geared from borrowings. And the reason why that is important is because a bank would be very prescriptive and specific on what they want. So, for example, student accommodation, they'll say you need to put down 30 or 40%. If it's a development, they might not even want to do it because of the risk criteria. Ours is different. So what we do is we say, what is the property worth now? What will the property be on completion? You're not going to get 100% funding for us for that specific one. Okay, it's only when, like I said, when Drew is operating a trading business and he wants to purchase a property, that would be the exception. So another factor in answering that question is, if we look at the income that the business can generate, less the expenses, that will give us also an indication of what gearing or what debt the business can be. So the answer can range anything from 80% loan to value or 70% loan to value. Bear in mind, there's additional risk if there's a development. So if there's a development, we want to make sure that the professional team knows what they're doing. We would send our independent quantity surveyor out to verify the cost to complete and the progress payments. And if there's additional risk, it will probably move the bar a bit in that what we'll find loan to value will be slightly less. But I'll say, we've done student accommodation 80%. We've done some 60%. But it just depends on what's in the mix, you see.
Okay, so unlike a bank, there's a lot of room with business partners because it's more so about the deal versus the actual individual pitching for it, unless it's an actual business. Then we look at the business and its profitability.
Well, I think you must put your CV in. I think
Yeah.
you got it right.
You're selling it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if it's a business, it's easy. We take all the risk. We fund the property, the VAT, the transfer, the legal costs. You don't put on a cent. But that is the exception of 100% fund.
Yes.
Or 100+% fund. The student accommodation or any other commercial initiatives, you would have to put down a deposit, but the loan to value depends on viability, what you're buying versus what the market value is.
Yeah.
But it's quite an educational process, and we like giving proper feedback to our applicants.
Oh, that is fantastic.
And I guess we'll cover more of this at the live event on the 20th of April in Bryanston, same place as last time, Bryanston Country Club.
Bryanston Country Club on the 20th of April, you will be able to have a more in-depth understanding of business partners and their funding and their partnerships also, because Arnold did mention that they also do equity. So you could have the greatest deal, you have equity, but you're just a little bit short. And so you contact business partners and they in turn will join you on that property journey.
Awesome.
Yes.
Sounds good, ladies and gents.
Do you have any more questions, Daryl?
Dan the man's in the background, our
Okay.
producer.
Guys, I literally want an entire funding person here and you're not asking questions. I'm actually very, very disheartened.
I think we covered so much. It's a good thing.
It is a good thing, but you might not be able to talk to Arnold again. So please ask your questions.
I think they're waiting for the event.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll
exactly.
give them
Writing
that.
down the list.
We will give them that in terms of that. So if we do not have any more questions, then the roundup is going to be me asking, in terms of business partners, how do people get a hold of you?
So I will give the website, the landline, and my personal cell phone, because our business is about the relationships. So myself, my area managers, my entire team, we work off software. Right. So the website is www.businesspartners.co.za. We actually have offices nationwide. I should have said that.
Yeah.
But channel it through me. I will ensure that you get the right people to deal with. My email address is aFebruary@businesspartners.co.za. My cell phone number is 073 699 7881.
Fantastic.
So we have one more question from Ridwan, and he wants to know, what rate does business partners charge?
So here's the important one of throwing all the risk in the mix, right? If you go to the bank, it's very important you understand the bank finance what we call the risk-free portion. So if it's R1 million transaction and you need to put on 30% or 40%, what the bank finance is a risk-free. If they go on auction, they know they can turn it at 60% or 70%. So therefore, they can easily say prime plus 1, prime plus 2. We will fund in the risk portion as well. So the value or the interest rate or the effective return on our investment depends on what we perceive to be a risk. What's the loan to value that we finance? How young is the business? How experienced are the entrepreneurs? What's the own contribution? What other outside collateral is being offered? So I think you summarize it quite well. So we will be able to give you a mix of at least 2 or 3 scenarios depending on the inputs. But effectively, we're trying to get a deal where we add more value and we charge more than the banks. So I would rather, for example, have you, instead of putting a 40% deposit down, put a 20% down and keep the 20% for working capital and let us finance and take a little bit, charge a little bit more, but add a little bit more value to your business.
That is absolutely fantastic. And I think, especially if you said, how long has the business been profitable? English escapes me. It's based on the fact that if you know that with the with the charging costs, you can do a lot more with that, and you have the safety net of somebody like business partners who actually is also invested in this being profitable, i.e., they're also in the risk. It works out quite well. But to those of you who have any questions regarding Arnold, don't forget to go to the Sapin website, and you can connect with business partners via Sapin Connect. Andrew, do you have any last final words?
No, I think I'm good, Kelly. And thank you to Arnold for coming in.
A pleasure.
Yeah, it was a good chat, different setting.
And you guys can let us know. Do you prefer this one, or do you prefer if we just standing? Yeah. We are extra casual. No, but you're business partners. See, if I'm gonna trust my company, somebody needs to wear a tie.
I'm a show.
You trust in the tie. Where there's a tie, there is trust. Yeah, you can't be expecting me with my cardigan to offer you 4 million. I would not trust it. However, you can definitely put your trust in business partners. So seeing you guys next week. I'm not sure, but I think you'll see me again.
Of course we will.
At this rate, I might as well.
Oh, Monday. Well, Monday is a public holiday, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is a public
Easter
holiday.
Monday, so we won't be on Monday, but the next Monday.
The next Monday, yes, you will be seeing me again. Right here, giving you all the information you need for property.
On that Monday, Kelly, we'll actually have people pitching their deals for Investor of the Year.
Ooh, you want to see that. You absolutely want to see that. We're going to be doing Investor of the Year. To those of you who haven't entered, please enter. Like we said, it doesn't matter what deal you're currently doing. It could be a small deal, or it could be a deal with somebody like business partners. It does not matter. Any deal that you have currently done in the past 12 months, or even before that, please enter Investor of the Year, and then we will see you next week Monday. From me to you, good afternoon.
Cheers.